which many a times in our own wrong assimilation or wrong understanding or wrong growing up with a wrong idea can sometimes completely ruin us because of that one thought which was not very clear. So I just want to make sure that this concept is understood. It's not something that I made it up. It is what Bhagavan is himself stating in the 14th and 15th shloka. So what was your understanding? If you can sum it up in your thought, in your words. It's like when you give an instruction to your child, you just want to make sure that they have understood that instruction. What do you say? What do you ask them? समझ में आया? क्या समझ में आया बताओ? So I'm asking the same way. So please. Your voice is in the exact shruti of the exhaust. थोड़ा ऊंचा बोलिएगा.
There is a setback for everybody, and you pray to God more doesn't mean that it's going to change. Praying will only help you strengthen yourself so that you can face those challenges in a better, composed way.
Okay. Anybody else for beginning it? I thought he was almost in that verge of saying something and then he just swallowed it.
But your past impacts present and that may be many lifetimes in the past as well.
Okay.
In our life, the past experience will unfold in present, and we have a choice how we face that. God doesn't have any role in it. I think that was the like we really emphasize that aspect that God doesn't have any say or any action influencing or being the external cheat sheets or people. It is up to us how we face it.
So last week, if I remember, somebody asked, what does it mean when it says that God, without God's permission, we cannot even move. Nobody can move even a blade of grass. Then what does it mean with this whole newer understanding that this 14th and 15th shloka are giving? Is my question clear? हाँ कि ना बाबा? ना?
So that is because
You were not there last week. Therefore, discount. Who was saying?
so that is part of the universal law.
Nature's law.
So that blade of grass moving is the result of nature's law being played out.
The blade of grass moving or acting in its nature, like the water has a certain movement, water has sapidity, fire has heat and light. That quality or that nature of that vastu which follows in its functionality, that is designed by him. That nature's law is designed by him. So everything that is going in its natural law, natural course of movement is happening because he designed it that way. Those of us who go in accordance with, in tune with that nature's law, we get the blessings of it. Those of us who rub against it, We may think we have cheated in this particular moment if the result is not that obviously clear at this moment, but it will come back, because it can only turn into a curse if you have gone against it. And it is that simple. But somewhere, it leads to another favorite, frequently asked, irritating question. The question is sometimes in a different formats, but the crux of the question is this: why do good people suffer? Have you ever come across such question? Or even worse, have you ever been the questioner? Why do good people suffer? Now, before we get to understand that whole logic of why good people suffer, another way of portraying it across is, uh, good people suffer, and in comparison to all these bad people, they seem to thrive. This is not fair. This is not just. First of all, our understanding of good and bad, our definition of good and bad, is it absolute by nature? I'm meaning to ask the one who has such question, that the standard of goodness and badness that you are claiming today, is it the standard or the new standard? This is what means, this is what bad means. Is our definition absolute? No, our definition is purely circumstantial. And if my definition is purely circumstantial, what right do I have to brand somebody as bad? Doesn't it talk about ourselves as coming off of a high horse of self-righteousness? Why that chip on your shoulder? And another interesting fact, when they say, why do good people suffer? Who are they referring to as good here? Usually it is themselves. Acha? Are we really that good? In that category? क्या हुआ? You get what I'm asking, right? Nobody ever can claim that I am that absolute standard of goodness. We have done things that which we are not proud of. We have done things or said things or not done things that which we should have, and we are not proud of either. Don't we? So what we are going through at this particular moment, I may not like it, therefore I call it bad. Like in the morning lecture, somebody asked, because they are also the same shloka, there somebody asked this question, that you mean to say that Raja Satya Harishchandra and all the various experiences that he has gone through, that he was really a bad person? Why did he have to go through such a suffering, such a deplorable condition that he had gone through? So it is like somebody who, while growing up, had a very indulgent life, because that was the definition of fun. A lot of liquor, lot of smoking, all kinds of smoking, lot of fried food, lot of fatty food. And after 25, 30 years, you have suddenly one day recognized and you changed your life, you changed your pattern, you dedicate more time to yoga and exercise and running and outdoor. Do you think that cholesterol is not going to catch up? Just because you have changed your method today? Any doctor out there? Madam, does it happen that up until yesterday I have had a fully indulgent food and practices, suddenly today I have taken to yoga? Do you think that cholesterol is going to be benevolent and say, Bichara, he has changed his path, so I will not give him any serious conditions? Does it happen? Because our logic seems to be that way. That doesn't happen. Whatever I have done in that past, it will catch up, it will have consequences. And at that time when it is catching up with me, I cannot claim innocence that, oh, I am such a good person, why is this bad happening to me? And the last thing is, as it says, thou shalt not take the name of Lord in vain. Probably it was said in this context, that who do we blame for every misery that we go through? Why is God doing this to me? No, God doesn't do this. And I had taken one more case study in one of the sessions for people to understand. See, many people, after coming to satsang and listening and that helping them, they come and say, oh, it must have been our fortune moment that we and our kids have this environment and this punya to be a part of this kind of an environment, that we have such a punya as our prarabdha. So I am like in my head, this punya may be your prarabdha. What did I do wrong in my past that I have such students? You see and just as an example, don't take it to heart. Purely as an example only, so that you can immediately understand. I gave you a, what do you call that? Disclaimer before the joke, after the joke, don't take it seriously. It was only a joke. Haji? मलहम लगा दूंगा. Now expanding onto this prarabdha portion, sometimes there are these, like, as much as you are the prarabdha for your child, having that child in your life is also your prarabdha. It works both ways. And you both are the results of your own past. Sometimes it is very difficult to explain this concept to a parent who has a child with special needs. And I cannot be rude in saying that, you deserve. And the way it helps to understand is that kid required that kind of a parent who could give that attention, love and care as a prarabdha for that kid through such parents. Therefore, that child is born unto them. And if that parent is not equipped enough to provide that kind of care and love, that it becomes their penance to grow to that level, to be able to give that love. Not a mere accident that whatever we go through, it provides an environment so that I can make myself a better me, to evolve into a next version of my own better self. So let us not blame the Lord unnecessarily, that Ishvara as unnecessarily, that that he did it. Now, if you understand this Ishvaratva, who is this Ishvara? It is not some kind of a puppeteer who is sitting up there. Though in Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, he says, Yantra Nunani Mayaya, that I am the Ishvara. And what is he trying to define there? That he is not somebody sitting up there as a puppeteer where all things are dancing according to his tunes. That Ishvara who has taken these different forms to bring the results of my own actions, he takes these different forms. So all these that are being a part of my life, bringing my different depth to my experiences, who are these people? It is the very expression of that Ishvara. So what is the natural shift in our understanding that should happen? That it is all these results that are unfolding as my experience are not being caused by these people, but it is happening through them and not by them. See. Now, what is a famous saying that we have in English? Don't shoot the messenger. What do we do day in and day out with everybody that we interact? Husband criticizes the wife. जब से तुझसे शादी किया मेरी जिंदगी की वाट लग गई. Wife says ditto. We're constantly blaming each other. Then we blame our in-laws, outlaws. Do you know what is the difference between in-law and outlaw? At least the outlaw is wanted. And then the blame game continues. Now it is only through them. Why are you shooting the messenger? If your UPS delivery guy, brings a packet, and that packet sometimes in the postal system, whatever was packaged in there is like shattered into pieces. Can you hold him responsible for your broken package? You can hold the company. वो बेचारा क्या करेगा? नहीं अब भी क्या replace it to me. वो कुछ नहीं करेगा. Complain, file a complaint. I'm sorry it broke, but they are not liable. He's just a messenger. He's just a delivery man. All these different people that we have in our life, that we are interacting, where we are enriched by these experiences, what are they doing? They are just created, arranged in such a way that the Ishvara expresses through them as our karma phala data. We become his hands and legs. We become that Ishvara's hands and legs. So it is only through them and not by them. And that day when we understand that it is through and not by them, that day when we truly understand it, there is such a huge punch that you feel in the gut. Man, have I been responsible for all this? Because we take partial convenient things that we take responsibility for. That whatever actions I have done, I take responsibility, I have done them. No, the responsibility is not just about executing it. The responsibility extends itself all the way to the result of it as well. That which I have executed has consequences. Those consequences, how to face them and how to move forward with them is my responsibility. Isn't it? Does it not make a... But sometimes most of the times when you look at the result, you feel very disappointed. No, no, I don't want to. That's where I give the most common example that I keep repeating is, after giving birth to a child and taking and looking into the child's life for 2-3 months, and one day you finally decide, nah, all. There is no recall there. You mean to say I'm stuck for the rest of my life? Aren't we? What is the difference between a garden patch and our children? However the plant unfolds itself, we have absolutely no expectation and we have ready acceptance as to how it is unfolding. With our other relations, we want it modulated according to our whims and fancies, wherein their presence is only as Ishvara to give us that result. Clear? I don't know how deeper to drill this in, because जिस दिन ये समझ में आ जाए ना, there's a lot of burden that we carry because of our wrong perception gets completely diluted. The courage with which we see our experiences have a different glow in it, provided we are ready to grow towards it. 16th shloka.
It is often observed, and therefore explained that, especially at the time of death, some people have an instantaneous, like others can suffer, whatever the length of time may be. And is, he died or she died a peaceful death because he or she was a good person. This person suffered. Is that also a way of Ishvara kind of handing out, okay, so you did good things, you have peaceful death, so how does that impact the next life? I mean, as in, or you pay for your sins sort of in this current life as well, as some of them can.
Let's go to Mahabharata for a sampling. Tell me somebody who had an extended painful stay until his death. Who was it? Tell me one example of somebody who instantly left his body. I just give you an example, hint, during the explanation of the shloka of the 8th chapter. No, they didn't have a choice. Somebody made the choice for them. Dronacharya, in the battlefield, he gathered his senses, balanced his mind, controlled his energies, and he quit before even, what is his name? Drupada's son. Drishtadyumna could lay his sword on his neck. Already quit from the body. What an amazing capacity that he could, with will. It's called Ichha marana or ichha mrityu shakti. And it is not suicide. Suicide is pida. This is a yoga sadhana wherein you are withdrawing and there is no continuation of jivatva at that process. In a suicide, there is a continuation of jivatva. Even Bhishma was nothing but a ichha marana shakti which continued for that many days, extended because he willed it to. And both of them cannot be the example of what you are asking. Right? Now, Gangeya, there were 8 children born to Ganga and Shantanu. The first 7 of them, and the 8th one also should have been relieved, only if Gangaji had already told the king as to why she was putting them in Ganga. Because they were the Ashtavasus who were cursed, and therefore to give them a quick relief from the human birth. And the Sapta Rishis told Gangaji that if you take birth and give them an opportunity to be born of your womb, and they can immediately find relief from that human birth and be born as Ashtavasus again. Their shapa will be done. But Shantanu, the last one, he had patience for 7 years. Say it is the itch that starts after the 7th year. He couldn't take it for the 8th one and he became Bhishma. So these 8, it was their prarabdha alone that brought them to that ending. And that death is not to be seen as a painful process. It was, in this case, it is seen as a blessing to finish that particular curse of one life and to be reborn as the Vasus again. So death is constantly defined in our Hinduism as a constructive destruction. So if somebody reaches to a very difficult death, and that also is the result of prarabdha, that particular person, and they say that the intensity of prarabdha goes through as physical ailments. That we should be careful here is we shouldn't turn to become apathetic. That when we see somebody suffer, we shouldn't be shrugging it out and saying that, oh, this fellow is suffering because his prarabdha is catching up with him. So when I hear somebody make such callous statements, I say that he is going through that prarabdha because in his earlier life he was in your position and looked at somebody else and said that it was his prarabdha and not be there for his support. Because that is what has happened in Hindu society, that we have become very apathetic towards humanity. That, oh, it is his prarabdha, it is his fate. Various languages, if you look at it, it's constantly repeated. हम कर क्या सकते हैं, बेचारे की किस्मत ही ऐसी फूटी है. Have you heard such statements? Now let me complete the thought. So the point there is that you should not be the one standing outside watching it, but you should be the one who should be supporting. And at that point, you don't even need to do a lot. Just being a shoulder for them to cry, somebody who will not judge them for what they're going through. Just be there for them. That's more than sufficient. Rather than being apathetic. So how does it go both sides? Oh, I didn't say everything is predefined. Got you to that understanding that everything is predefined. Then how is it predefined? I decide what is resulting it. So it is not predefined. I become the architect of my own actions of my present. And these, how I use, become my future. So how is it predetermined? Predetermined has a as a presupposition that it is not in my hands and somebody else has decided for me to go through it. That is predetermined. When I have decided it, it is like somebody who looks at the lunch box and then says, "Aaj bhi sandwich." And a friend asked, why don't you tell your wife? Oh, yaar, meri shaadi nahi hui hai, main hi pack karta hu. They said, no, I did not get married yet. It was me who packed it. Then if it is you who packed it, then you don't have a right to call that it is somebody else who is thrusting that lunch on you. Packed it. So we cannot use the term that loosely there, saying that it is predetermined. Did I convey? Coming back to your point, did it get clarified? No, it is clarified, but for you to assimilate it and get a grip at it, it will take it. So any other questions? Shoot, because I don't want to take another shloka and leave it in between.
We are the architects of our future. We are the architects of our future. With the current actions, we are architects of our future.
Yes, we are the architects of our future.
So that goes even with German and the next German also. Based on what we. So going back to the example, I have the basic necessities done in this life.
Basic?
Basic is food, roti, makna, kapam.
Roti, kapda, makan.
So if I have those, like I was saying, we should be empathetic to the people who do not have those privileges. How does it impact my next if I'm not and if I am? Like how is the relation?
See, Vyas Bhagavan says in very simple terms, what is the difference between papa and punya? Parahitam punyam, peedanam. You may not be actively involved in causing somebody pain, sorrow, misery. But when somebody that is known to you, or even if not known to you, is in pain, sorrow, misery, catering to another human being, will it not come back? Most probably, because I am not an expert at understanding the vast matrix of how it will result into. Probably that when you need something, you will also go through a moment where you will be neglected. When at that time when Abhimanyu was trapped between those people, and the first blow to him was given by Jayadratha on the insistence of Karna to attack him from back. And he had almost lost his weapon as well. He was nihatta tha. And he was attacked. And within that war, because Bhagavan Krishna's avatar is not like Bhagavan Rama, very Manava avatar. Bhagavan Krishna said, no, I am Bhagavan and I will be taking decisions as the Ishvara. That you do your actions and your results will be immediately seen. So, this is not fair. My chariot is stuck. My weapons are lost. I ask you permission for another fair war. I said, what happened to the same logic when Abhimanyu was there? You were the one who to kill him. So whatever were your actions, the result will be given to you immediately. And therefore he says, Arjuna, will you be my equipment of Ishvara to punish this jiva? As a mortal, equating between good and bad, he was there delivering the own actions. If you understand Krishna Avatara as the Ishvara who is a karma phala data, confusions that we have will be gone. Then we will not dare point fingers at Bhagavan Krishna. We will not have the audacity, but we will understand the true meaning of why he took that avatar and what he did, when he did in that avatar. Right? So Karna got his. So whatever we do, well, many times we throw the boomerang and forget that it was me who threw it. And then when it hits like, Krishna Mara, how dare somebody beat me like this? And if there is, तूने तो फेंका था, it will come back. Yes, Amma.
You had alluded to this, but when Arjuna did what Krishna asked him to, will that come back again?
Which one?
Arjuna followed through. Krishna said, go ahead and kill Karna.
No, it will not, because he was just acting as the instrument. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Yes, sir.
So do we also determine as to when it's going to boomerang back? I mean,
Each action is like a seed, and each seed has its own time frame for that to evolve into a result. For somebody else doing the same action, the result may be immediate. For a different person with a different situation, the same action can lead the result delayed. When we compare our children with each other is an unfair thing, because each one has their own different rate of blossoming. वो देख तेरे से छुट्टा है, that fellow is younger than you, शर्म कर. Two different vessels, two different flowers, completely two different. It's not fair to even compare. See, the reason I say it is not, you cannot ascertain it with specificity of time as to how much time the result will come. There's some that you can definitely. You eat food and your hunger is instantly satiated, you know the action and result. You go through the exam, you know whether you pass or fail. Right? There are some actions which have immediate result. There are some which you have done, but the result of it will unfold in its own course, because the appropriate time for that exact result which you deserve, that who has to deliver it, that environment has to be created. So however long it takes for that matrix to fall in place. For this question that you had asked, right? This environment was to be prepped. And however long ago you were born, however long ago I was born, we had to be born and going through our different experiences to interact and intersect at this point to have this dialogue. And this may have been like burning in your heart for a long time. But this moment is when it.
You may not also experience this recipient of the fruit, right? For example, our parents, whatever sacrifices, whatever they've done, they didn't necessarily may have experienced the great result, but the child, when child does well, then that is seen as the result of that experience. what you sow, so shall you reap. But it's not exactly, you sowed, but you did not reap in that direct
No,
sense.
you alone will reap. That which you have, like, somebody talks about this as Tenali Rama, some say it is Birbal. This story is attributed to multiple people. The crux of the story is, there's this old man who is sowing, like, he is so old that he is, while digging, his hands are shivering. So the king of that land is passing by, and he very callously says, uh, old man, one foot is hanging in the grave, and you still seem to be eager in extending your life and expect that you would be eating the mango that will grow out of that plant. So the old man, pious old man, he said to that king that if that were the thought of my ancestors, I would not be able to what they had planted when they had planted it, and I am bearing the result of that today. All this that which we do, which affects or which has an effect on various people on a positive side, that will become your punya karma. Of your punya karma will come only to you. For that individual to get that fruit of mango at that particular time would be his prarabdha to reap that benefit. So your child who is born, or your parents who have put that effort, and so that you got that environment, that was the match of this jiva to be born to that kind of parents. Put that effort.
But Swamiji, taking the example for the child flourishing because the parents sacrificed, uh, I don't know, I'm still trying to understand that, because we face the fate of the child.
There are how many people who are born with a golden spoon but squandered it efficiently? We call one as a president right now. I'm told that he was born a very rich family and rich background, and then he squandered it. That how many times did he go for a chapter 11? I'm not talking Bhagavad Gita. 4 times. Squandered it. So is it not his prarabdha that he squandered it? That yes, that also is a prarabdha. Do it quickly because you have only 4 minutes.
I think have we emphasized that only that I can architect my own tomorrow based on the action I take today. Likewise, it's the same with respect to every jiva, including parent, child, or grandchild, everything.
Yes, sir.
Respect to individual jiva. If this is true, then
No, if you add if, then you're questioning it is true. Move forward.
prove that it is true. The same like often you emphasize on the effect of environment. It has effect, but I think not determine what magnitude it has effect. So back home in India, I think there are a lot more variables other than family and the environment we grew up. So it's our character, what values, whatever we grow up. But here the variables are little limited. In the environment we give to our kids, or rather we live. So what?
Therefore, bring them to Chinmay mission. The variables will be profound.
Yeah, my question is,
I got it.
how good variables?
See, I got to the answer straight away.
The Chinmay effect only loses its thing after a couple of days.
To bring them back after those couple of days. Next week. See, the way Gurudev designed this environment and insisted that this should become a integral part of life here. And it's not just for a Balavihar time. And his packaging was like womb to the tomb. You start when you are born, and up until the last, there are different ages that are catered to. Environment is provided, that impact is provided. and he'll continue if his prarabdha is here.
No, not just the case. Respect to myself. What I'm trying to say is that we become best example. We do the same code. We don't do a specific A to mark B and a specific B to same. But still, even consuming the same code, each kid goes in different ways. What could be done best? Because they cannot create two environments for each group.
So if I understand your question better, there are two different individuals, but there is only a limited effort that is being put, especially with regards to children. How should we cater to their individual development as two different individuals? These externalities that you're talking is fine. Help that you can do is help them understand their own skills, what to do. Rather, teach them how they can be a better individual in recognizing their own skill sets. So expose them to various environments, and that which is the natural momentum in it. Sometimes here and there they'll show lethargy and leniency and things, that throw that aside. But there is that natural inclination. So provide a room, provide an environment as a gardener would do to a garden, that weed out all the unnecessaries and give that opportunity for them to flower with their potential. And then give them the skill sets to master that particular talent. Give them the environment to master that. And each individual will have it different. And for each individual, the child that you have will flourish in that particular field. This much, that kid would never feel something less was done. Will enjoy their life because it is now matched and tuned to their basic jivatva, the jiva. That would be the best help that as a parent that we can do. So identify if your child is a lotus seed or is a coconut, and plant it in according environment. You cannot take a lotus and plant it in a deserted island, and you cannot take a coconut and plant it somewhere else and expect it to start flourishing. You can identify them that way. The whole education process that we are going through as parents here is so that we get that ability. Therefore, I insist that it is not just the children that they have to learn. It is so much as parents that we have to learn that we can be a better parent for our child. Right? Next week, I'll not be here because tomorrow I'm leaving to India for about 4 weeks. And since I'll not be here during the New Year's, Happy New Year to all of you. And happy holidays, safe holidays. Enjoy. And we will meet after I come back from India. But the next week, don't consider that there will be no satsang.